Hey everybody, this is Super Ninja Austin here. He's going to be doing his latest fourth premium live event review. Yes, sir. This is the 105th episode, I believe, of the SNA podcast. And I'm going to be talking about the latest edition of WWE Crown Jewel. Trey, what are you talking about? You got it. But anyways, yeah, we're going to be talking about the latest edition of the SNA podcast. This is going to be WWE Crown Jewel. And, man, this was a very interesting pay-per-view, I should say, to say the least. I'm not sure what to describe next. And then when they were presenting the pay-per-view with having the likes of John Cena, Cody Rhodes, and Bianca Belair, and Seth Rollins being their part of the narrator is into the intro of Crown Jewel. I was like, I guess they kind of spoiled it a bit, but only if two out of the rest of the guys didn't win the match. But I'll say, if I didn't watch the show, I would have said they kind of spoiled it already. But that wasn't like entirely the case because, yeah, like I said, like only two out of the wrestlers that was in this hype videos did not exactly win like tonight. And I bet y'all probably would say the same about this statistic. But we're gonna talk about it right here, right now. We start off with it was Sami Zayn, which I'm not sure if we're just going to talk about this match. We're just talking about like he just basically beat JD McDonough into a very short, I'll say short but sweet match, I should say. I'm not sure if I should describe it anything sweet. But I'm going to let y'all know that in the kickoff show, which most said it was going to be Sami Zayn's match, which one YouTuber said it will be JD McDonough because he needs to get some wins in order to be like possibly an honorary member of the Judgment Day faction. But I guess we're going to start up. We're going to start off with Seth Rollins taking on Drew McIntyre. And, man, this was a very close match. It had me starting to believe if Drew McIntyre really is going to win the World Heavyweight Championship match, this World Heavyweight Championship match. Because they start going back and forth, like forth and back. Like we're hitting each other's moves and then dodging and countering each other's moves and whatnot. And I'm gonna start off with right now. Like we saw some with Seth Rollins going grappling game, but Drew McIntyre keep overpowering him when it comes to grappling. Like when he with the shoulder tackles and then run, do jumps, leapfrog. Still overpowers with shoulder tackles, I believe. But anyways, Seth Rollins managed to get him on the outside. This is where he tried to go for a suicide dive. Reminded me when I started playing my little exhibition prediction match on WWE 2K23 for the World Heavyweight Championship. But this is where he tried to go for a suicide dive. This is where Drew McIntyre caught him in midair. Go for a belly-to-belly suplex. Like hitting that hard, it hit his back right on the concrete floor in the left side area of the left side of the ringside area. My apologies. When he's been known to having bad back issues from the past month or two with him, considering his feud with started being known on his match against Shinsuke Nakamura. But anyways, this is where Drew McIntyre throws Seth Rollins back in the ring. This is where Drew McIntyre Irish whips Seth Rollins right onto the left, in the top left corner, like and slamming his back right into the turnbuckle. This is where Seth Rollins was grabbing onto his back. This is where Drew McIntyre started teasing, started slapping the back of his head right onto Seth Rollins. This is where he shoves Rollins' face with his jaw. This is where he starts hitting strikes right onto the head of Drew McIntyre. This is where he Irish whips him right into the. This is where he Irish whip Rollins. This is where Drew McIntyre Irish whips Seth Rollins right into the other side, onto the left side. This is where he tried to duck down and try to go for like a spine buster or a body drop, but I think he went too soon because this is where Seth Rollins kicks him right into the head. This is where Seth Rollins runs right to the left side of the corner. And then this is where the second attempt was successful when he hits the double A spine. Trey, what are you doing? Can you wait until you go outside or go to the park to play with that? Can you play with another toy? Anyways, this is where he spine buster Seth Rollins, but he only got a 1-2 ooh. This is what Drew McIntyre's like, what I got to do to put away this, put away the psychopath. This is where he picks up the visionary. This is where he hits a big striking knife edge chops, which probably made Gunther re-add him to the MV list. This is where Drew McIntyre. This is where everybody started amazingly was on Drew's side because they started cheering, and that's when they started slowly booing Seth Rollins when he started hitting strikes right onto the Scottish Warrior when they were cheering for, like, because when he started chopping him, like, this is when the fans started cheering, like, yay, because I guess the Saudi fans and even the fans in America in general probably would have rooted for Drew McIntyre, or anybody that's a WWE fan, especially a WWE fans that are Drew McIntyre fans would probably want to see Drew McIntyre walk out of here as the world champion, because the last time he was the champion, like it was when it was during the pandemic, like when he was carrying the WWE, like still going, even though no one can leave their house unless for necessities only. But anyway, this is where he started hitting knife edge chops to Rollins. Rollins went back and answered back with a chop of his own. This is when fans started cheering Drew McIntyre. This is where they started booing Rollins when he started doing some hard non-stop chops to what's his name, Drew McIntyre. This is where Drew McIntyre Irish whipped him right to the corner. This is where Seth Rollins tried to do a dodging slide right on the top, like going up right on, like putting his hands onto the rope, slide over his legs over to Drew McIntyre, but Drew McIntyre expected to hit him with a jumping catching kick right in midair, like he would do on WWE 2K19 or 20, or even 22. Yeah. Oh, you're so adorable. Anyways, yeah, when he did that looked like a sideways Claymore kick right on midair. It's where he was like, this is when the fans were like, yay! Like, come on, Drew, put him away. Really, Trey? But anyways, this is where he got him in there. Trey, this is where he pins. This is where he pins Seth Rollins, but he only got a 1-2 ooh. Trey, no. Come on, Trey. This is where he kicks out at 2.7 count. Like, this is where Drew McIntyre was like, man, what I could do to finish off him. This is when they start cheering like, Drew McIntyre, clap, 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 clap. And then this is where he tried to go for a back suplex, but this is where Seth freaking Rollins started elbowing Seth Rollins. This is where he tried to he still tried to close on him anyways, but this is where he flips out of it. This is where he hangs on to the right side of the ropes. This is where Drew McIntyre saw him doing this. This is where he tried to go for a kick, but he hang on to his arm and ran him with an back elbow. This is where he bent his legs back and put it onto his shoulders, and then do his signature reverse Alabama slam maneuver right off the ropes. This is where he tried to attempt to do so. This is where Seth Rollins tried to roll out of it, start kicking McIntyre's back with his left foot, like boom, 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 get him right off. This is where it worked in a way. This is where Drew McIntyre tried to go for a second attempt, but I believe he's probably double cursed of doing the reverse Alabama slam, because when he tried to roll. Dang it! Not trying to do that. Here we go. I'm trying to get it open, but it won't open. I'm not open. Won't budge. Here you go. Anyways, this is where he flips him right up, hits a step up insecurity right onto McIntyre. This is where he went right down to the ground. This is where Seth Rollins thought he's got the advantage right here. This is where he was getting ready to do the curb stomp, but Drew McIntyre soonly came out of nowhere, trying to go for the spear, but he dodged him just by an inch, hit his shoulder in the process. This is where Seth Rollins was trying to get back up and try to do a huge game changer at this point. This is where fans start singing the song like you normally would say, like, oh. Well, at least his hardcore fans were cheering for him and singing the song. This is where Drew McIntyre once again hits the knife edge chop onto Seth Rollins. This is where Seth Rollins tried to run right to the bottom side corner ropes and hit a clothesline to Drew, but Drew was up. There was nothing that was gonna bring down the Scottish Warrior. But this is where Seth Rollins tried to go for another one. But Drew McIntyre ducks out of the way. This is where Seth Rollins improvised with a super kick right into the midsection of Drew. Kicked his head back up, hits a discus forearm, super kick him right in the knee, and he super kicked him right to the head finally when his knees were down. This is where and it also hits a running bicycle knee strike onto the Scottish Warrior. This is where Seth Rollins went right onto the bottom corner apron. This is where he tried to go for a springboard swanton, which he successfully executed, along with a springboard moonsault on the other side of the ropes. This is where he tried to pin Drew McIntyre, but this is where Drew McIntyre kicked out at 1-2. This is where what else happened on this match? This is where Seth Rollins gets back up. This is where he's like, all right, I need to make sure I gotta finish him off for good so I can prove my statement of him crying himself another river, which he didn't say that though. This is where Seth Rollins tried to go for a suplex, but this is where Drew McIntyre tried to counter it and then try to go up and suplex him instead, but he gets instantly kneed right into the head by Seth Rollins. This is where Seth Rollins runs right to the right side of the ropes. This is where he goes for a flying head scissors, looks like going for a DDT, but he landed on his feet purposely and then hits him with a Falcon Arrow instead. This is where he tried to go for a pinfall to the Scottish Warrior, but this is where Drew McIntyre kicks out at 2.8 seconds. And then this is where Seth Rollins kicks him right in the midsection. This is where he tried to go for his now signature move, the pedigree, formerly known as his finishing move. Thanks to his mentor. Sorry, my bad. Like just a little scratch in my throat there. But anyways. He tried to go for the pedigree, which is formerly known as his finishing move, thanks to his mentor, the original owner of the maneuver, Triple H. But anyways, this is where he tried to successfully execute it, but Drew McIntyre counters it, trying to go for the Future Shock DDT, the battle of the double underhook maneuvers. This is where Seth Rollins countered the Future Shock DDT, hits a discus elbow right into Drew McIntyre's face. Drew lands right onto the bottom left corner. This is where he tried to go for an attack, but he hits him with an elbow right into the back. Hit him with a back elbow right into the face of Rollins. Jumps over the ropes and then landed right onto the left side of the apron and go up to the top rope, agiling. And this is where Drew McIntyre tried to go for a top rope maneuver, but Seth Rollins soonly intercepted, hit him with a superplex off the top rope, tried to go for a Falcon Arrow, but Drew McIntyre beat him to it by hitting a suplex, finally executing the suplex from making up the mistake from earlier, which, yeah, and the statistic goes like, if your move doesn't work the first time, it's going to work the second time. And that was plenty of that in this match particularly. I'll say definitely this match was definitely a guarantee of the second attempt of doing a certain move was going to work. But anyways, this is where Drew McIntyre pins Seth Rollins, but he only got a 1-2, which is 2.999 seconds. This is where Michael Cole was confused at first. He was like, did he get Seth? Like, and then this is where Wade Barrett confirmed, like, no, like he just kicked out at that last second there. This is where Drew McIntyre went got him in a fireman's position, like ready to do a fireman's carry. And I thought he was going to do my signature move, which I would be doing the dance of joy, just like Simon Miller would do, like if a wrestler did something that he would want them to do. I'm not sure what that would be. Possibly one of them being the most devastating move in all sports entertainment, the surprise roll up. If they don't often do it too often, of course. This is where Drew McIntyre was still carrying Seth Rollins right onto his shoulders, but Seth Rollins was flipping right down, going for a sunset foot power bomb. This is where Drew McIntyre tried to flip out of it, and this is where he finally counters the sunset foot buckle bomb, like when Seth Rollins rolled out of his top rope fireman's carry maneuvers. What's that? Execution on, and this is where Seth Rollins did a sunset flip, but this is where Drew McIntyre counters into it and finally hits the future shock DDT. Like I said before, and I'll say it again. He tried to execute the move at first, but Seth Rollins got out of it and countered. But this time Drew McIntyre did the old statistic. But it looked like he was gonna win. But as soon as Seth Rollins kicked out 2.9 seconds, this is where Drew McIntyre was trying to hit his finishing move, which was the 3-2-1 Claymore, which he's like begging Rollins to get back up in his feet. And then this is where he was like, come on, like I'm about to do the count out. This is where Drew McIntyre's like, you know what? Like his back is killing him right now. I'm going to spare him from getting up and take him out of his misery, put him out of his misery for the maneuver. But it looks like Seth Rollins was partially playing possum, because when Drew McIntyre tried to pick up Seth Rollins, he hit him with the small package, which is also known as the most devastating move in all sports entertainment. This is where the referee counted 1, he counted 2, but Drew McIntyre instantly kicked out at 2 even. This is where he tried to clothesline Seth Rollins out of the ring. This is where Seth Rollins ducked out of the way, clotheslined Drew McIntyre out of the ring. This is where Seth Rollins was like, I need to get back up, and he runs right into the left side of the ropes, go for a suicide dive right onto the outside, right on the floor. Seth Rollins was grabbing the small of his back, because that was really giving them some pain, really giving them the pain the most. Like I was like, like I hope his lower lumbar is not dislocated or broken or something that's unforgivingly career ending, of course. But it didn't seem like that was really the case, because he managed to still performed until the very end, like according to plan. Like despite having some minor back issues on his lower lumbar. But anyways, this is where Drew McIntyre picks him up, hits him with a spine buster right through Simba the Steel Steps. I was like, yeah, that's not a pretty sight. Like, if he keeps this up, he probably will instantly become the World Heavyweight Championship and finally have his moment. I was looking like if that's the case, like then why was Drew? How come Drew is not going to continue to do this during this match? Because this, like, not to mention, like, but also. But this is this is not the only move that Drew McIntyre did to the Architect, or the former Architect, of course, because he sidewalk slammed him right onto the exact same Simba of the Steel Steps right after he just spine busted him, trying to make his back not even 1% to still compete in the match. This is where Drew McIntyre also did a Randy Orton style back suplex onto the hottest part of the ring. Well, not, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't he sidewalk slammed him right onto the apron. My bad. Like, yeah, he sidewalk slammed him. What am I talking about? He saw it on the hardest part of the ring, which is proven in the internet wrestling community. Like, it's the hardest part of the ring. Like, it will damage your body, whether if it's just a bruise or a broken bones or or internal bleeding. It's gonna hurt you in the long run. But anyways, that's an unforgiving part of the ring. But anyways, this is where Drew McIntyre got back in the ring. This is where he's like, can I attempt the Claymore now? Like I'm not sure if his back is 100%. This is where he looked at Seth Rollins was like you SOB, like you good for nothing, selfish SOB to what's his name, to Drew McIntyre. He hits him with a gigantic pit slap right into his face. Drew McIntyre's like, oh, that's all you got? That's how you roll? And he hits him with a Glasgow kiss. And then this is where he picks him up. This is where he tried to hit him with a running lariat, I suppose. But this is where Seth Rollins rolls out of it, turns it around into a pedigree because, like I said, there's plenty of, which is if their signature finishing move does not successfully execute the first time, it's going to be a guaranteed it will the second time, which that was the case for both men. So this time, Seth Rollins hit his signature move successfully, which is his former finishing move, the pedigree, thanks to his mentor Triple H. This is where he pins Drew McIntyre, and the referee count to 1, the referee count to 2. Drew McIntyre kicks out, barely gets the shoulder up at 2.9 seconds. And then this is where Seth Rollins this is where he picks back up Drew McIntyre. This is where he started striking right hands right onto the face, which most of the fans did not like that because they expected the Scottish Warrior to win this match against the Visionary. This is where he hits after he started continuing his right forearms. This is where he hits the discus one, hits another striking elbow strike to the back of the head of the Scottish Warrior on the back of his head. This is where Seth freaking Rollins was trying to hit his finishing move, which is the curb stomp, trying to burn it down to the Scotsman. This is where he tried to go for a attempt, but it didn't work this time. But this is where Drew McIntyre getting ready to try to go for a spine buster but he just landed the spine buster right onto Rollins through the top left corner of Tina the turnbuckle, picks him back up, trying to go for the belly-to-belly suplex, right away from the top left corner. Is where he hit the splash onto him, right into the bottom right corner, and he hits another belly-to-belly suplex right onto the other side, onto the other side, the opposite direction. This is where Seth Rollins tried to go for a clothesline once he gets back up on Drew McIntyre, but instead it instantly gets neck breakered by the Scotsman, along with McIntyre doing the kip up like if he was The Rock or Shawn Michaels. This is where Drew McIntyre is like, all right, no more playing around. This is where Drew McIntyre is like, come on, I'm calling for a Claymore right now. This is my chance. And I've been waiting for the past 3 years. And he's like, 3 and 2, and the fans were saying with him, 3, 2, 1. Try to go for the Claymore before he can even attempt to. This is where he gets intercepted with a super kick by Rollins, bringing him down off his feet, back first. This is where Seth Rollins hits a curb stomp. You know the statistic. He finally, his first attempt didn't work, but his second attempt did because it was a guarantee. This is where he pins Seth Rollins. This is where Seth Rollins pins Drew McIntyre, but he only kicks out, but just to kick out at 2.9999 second count. This is where Wade Barrett and his fans thought this was going to be over because of hitting him with the super kick at first, then along with the curb stomp. It put everybody away. It'll be very rare, only a very few people, what Michael Cole confirmed, kicked out of a super kick plus a curb stomp combo of a signature and finishing move. And this is where Seth Rollins was like, are you serious? I know this guy's tough, but I didn't know he was this tough. This is where Seth Rollins, he hits him with another super kick, if I'm not mistaken. This is where Seth Rollins tried to go for another one. He was getting ready into position. But he was like, you know what? I'm going to go for a different maneuver because he's going to expect it. This is where he tried to go for that reverse corkscrew moonsault, like what with Nathan Fraser, his former wrestling student, always does on NXT. But this is where Drew McIntyre moves right out of the way, right on time. He finally gets a guaranteed Claymore kick because it was guaranteed again. But when he hits the Claymore and he pins Seth Rollins, he referee counts to 1-2, and Seth Rollins instantly kicks out right before the referee can hit 3. Like he was the referee was like a pinch of a second of being 3, like away from being 3, I should say. Pinch of an inch of a second of being 3 count. Like which is known as 2.99999999999, like 0.1 second, a negative 0.1 second away from being 3. I was like, maybe he could win because this Claymore came out of nowhere and usually just give you the win. And I was like, what? Like that? How to kicked out of a Claymore? Like so shocking, like that in that way. But this is where Drew McIntyre tried to go for another Claymore, which Seth Rollins ducked right out of the way. This is where when Drew McIntyre tried to go for a Claymore, this is where Seth Rollins ducks out of the way. This is where he hits, I believe, was a pedigree, was it? Oh no, that's not. I was like, he tried to attempt the first time, but not the first time, the third time, but he instantly kicks it. It's not third time's the charm, and he tried to go for a fourth time. I guess he got double whammy because he got super kicked by Rollins again. Not super kick, ducked. He did super kick him. Yeah, he super kicked him, but he tried to Claymore kick him. He ducked out of the way right on time, landing back first, like hitting his back in the process. This is where Seth Rollins This is where it goes for the pedigree. That's right. And after that, hits the curb stomp. He got the 1-2-3. Still the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And yeah, like Seth Rollins going to remain as the reigning and defending champion as we go on onto the road of Survivor Series now. And what you thought about this match for those who watched this match tonight or this afternoon, of course. Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And also, what you thought about this? And what do you guys thought about Seth Rollins retaining and not Drew McIntyre walking out as the new champion? And yeah, I would say I agree with those Drew McIntyre fans. It's a shame that Drew McIntyre didn't win, and he's gonna remain as the wrestling star that has not held the championship gold with a live crowd. But do you think he's gonna win the WWE championship once again, like with a live, but this time with a live crowd and fans cheering him on and getting over? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. But yeah, and Wade Barrett kind of made for an excuse for the reason why Drew McIntyre did not win, saying it's because he did not make that deal with the Judgment Day and it would have been a guarantee. And neither man do that. I was like, either way, like they probably would get it would have been a guaranteed if they went in their own ways. Like with Drew McIntyre going to this, have a foolproof plan with him trying to win the World Heavyweight Champion. And finally become a heavyweight champion with a live crowd, or Seth Rollins could have his plan, which it was a foolproof in his side of the his offense, I should say, his side of the fence, I should say, with him retaining the World Heavyweight Champion. But yeah, y'all let me know down in the comments what you thought about this match in general, and do you think the right man won the championship match, or do you think somebody else did? I mean, you think that somebody else did. I mean, do you think that it should have been Drew McIntyre?
Can you torch this?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But anyways, yeah. I said somebody else. How silly. What a blooper. But anyways. But yeah, I mean, do you think it should have been Drew McIntyre, I should say? Or it should be the WWE World Heavyweight Champion right now. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. We're gonna move on when Damian Priest tried to attempt to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase. He thought He did. This is where Damian Priest was like, I'm going to cash in this Money in the Bank briefcase, and I'm going to beat Seth Rollins' ass and beat him for that championship that he just retained. And I'm going to beat his ass for it. And then this is where Sami Zayn came in, hits him from behind, like with him revealing himself with the black hoodie. This is where he tossed the money. This is where he grabs onto the Money in the Bank briefcase, runs with it, and leaves the arena. And then Damian Priest tried to chase after him, which I'm not sure if he ever got his Senior's Money in the Bank custom-made Judgment Day briefcase back. At least that tonight's show, I should say. But yeah, y'all let me know in the comments also about that as well. If Damian Priest ever got his briefcase back, or Sami Zayn still has possessed of his Money in the Bank contract. But we're gonna probably see that in 2 days from now, or 2 nights, I should say. But anyways, this is where Seth Rollins started laughing, like once it happened. But anyways, we're gonna. What other match we have left? Let's see. I'm on an ad right now to see what happened next. Okay, let's see what happened next on to tonight's Crown Jewel event. Which is a fatal 5-way match for the Women's World Championship match with Nia Jax, Raquel Rodriguez, Zoe Stark, and Shayna Baszler, and the Women's World Champion herself, the Eradicator Rhea Ripley. Which I'll say this was a really good, hard-hitting women's match with big women slapping women meat, I should say. This is where, and no, I didn't mean it like that. I'm using the catchphrase that my homeboy Simon Miller would say, like saying big men slapping man meat, I should say, by hitting chops and punches and kicks, which that was plenty of what these women did. They were hitting each other with heavy hitting match. And then this is where we did a special entrance with the Eradicator with the people in the Saudi Arabia, like with them aligning like for Rhea Ripley's entrance, like and playing their music, like in playing their music like if they were playing onto the flute, I should say. They're like I'll say like a guitar and a flute, I should say, with their usual theme song, which is "This Is My Brutality," with her catchphrase saying "She eats, sleep, bleeds, like demons in your dreams" or whatever it's called. But anyways, we're gonna talk more of the match and less of their entrance now by saying what went down on the WWE. Yeah, it went everywhere with Nia Jax posing in the ringside area. This is where Rhea Ripley started hitting drop kicks on Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, and to Nia Jax, doing a sliding kick right onto Nia Jax onto the outside. This is where Rhea Ripley's like, you want a piece of me, you big fat monster? And this is where she gets tripped over by the irresistible force, faced in front of her body first, right onto the harsh part of the ring, which is the ring apron. This is where Nia Jax got back into the ring after she did that to Rhea. This is where she hits a half arm clothesline to Baszler. This is where Zoe Stark lands right on her into a crossbody, gets body slammed by Nia, and then this is where Shayna Baszler tried to go for a waist lock, German suplex, but Nia Jax was not allowing her to flip her right over. This is where Zoe Stark kicks her, Zoe Stark, Rhea Ripley. This is where she goes, kicks her right in the midsection and a headbutt, and also and this is where Raquel Rodriguez hits a big boot right onto to Nia Jax's face, and then make Shayna Baszler knock out Nia Jax so she can make it more easier for her to German suplex her, which she successfully did. And it was like four women like going head to head, like facing each other. And it reminded me like playing WWE 2K23 without Nia Jax, of course, because I unfortunately don't have the irresistible force on that game. But anyways, this is where Shayna Baszler will fist and back to Raquel Rodriguez, while Rhea Ripley was throwing fist at Zoe Stark. And there's one thing I want to point out, like they were wearing their cover-up wrestling ring gear, like with Rhea Ripley looking like some kind of an anime rock star, and then like a gothic anime rock star, while Zoe Stark looked like a badass crime fighter, like a badass crime fighter that's a secret agent, and then Shayna Baszler looking like a Brazilian jiu-jitsu master, like a female Brazilian jiu-jitsu master, with her gear, and then Raquel Rodriguez looks like a professional female bullfighter, like of bullfighting a matador, which obviously that's bull in Spanish. But anyways, this is where, and then Nia Jax looked like herself, like what she normally looked like, because like she covers up most of, like, at least 9 times, like 9 out of the 10 of her body parts. But she just did just a little more, like covering up with her arms and her upper body, of course, along with it. She didn't really need to do that much of a change. But anyways, this is where Raquel Rodriguez was hitting right hands right onto Shayna Baszler, right onto the bottom right corner of the turnbuckle. This is where Rhea Ripley was doing the same with Zoe Stark onto the top left corner on the team of the turnbuckle. This is where I'm going to start hitting bottom axe handle right onto Shayna Baszler's gut. This is where Rhea Ripley started hitting her strikes right onto Rhea Ripley doing Zoe Stark, but this is where Raquel Rodriguez turned her around, hits her with a striking clothesline. And this is where Zoe Stark goes for trying to attack Raquel Rodriguez, but she instantly gets clotheslined by the former NXT Women's Champion. This is where she tried to clothesline Baszler, but she ducks on the first attempt. But like the statistic goes, like it's a guaranteed the second time. That's what she did. So successfully hits the boomerang clothesline, like looking like this WWE 2K23. This is where Zoe Stark tried to run towards Raquel, but she just gets instantly power slammed from Raquel Rodriguez. This is where Shayna Baszler tried to jump right on her, but she gets spun around into a power slam. This is where Rhea Ripley tried to go for a big boot. My apologies. But anyway, this is where she tried to go for a big boot right into the face of Raquel, but she caught her right between her legs, trying to go for that Vahana bomb, but Rhea Ripley somehow counters it, hits a side swiping knee kick to the back of Raquel Rodriguez and a snapmare drop kick with her sitting in the snapmare position. This is where Zoe Stark tried to hit some striking right hands right onto the head of Rhea Ripley. This is where Rhea Ripley managed to spear her right onto the corner of the top left corner of Tina the turnbuckle, spearing her right into the midsection. This is where Shayna Baszler turned her around. This is where she tried to close on Ripley, but instead she get a back suplex facebuster majig right onto the middle of the canvas. This is where Ripley was like, you. And this is where Rhea Ripley was like, this is my house and my brutality. And then this is where she went face to face with Nia Jax. With Nia Jax in the bottom corner, we went right to the bottom corner of went right into the bottom corner of the apron, like where Nia Jax is like, "Oh, like you're so intimidating," like, and then I bet the Great One was rooting for Ripley even more to beat her ass even more because for some reason he's not a big Nia fan for God knows what reason. But anyway, this is where Ripley was like, oh, yeah, like you can't go face to face with mommy. Like, come on, hit right here. This is where she shoved instead. She was like, hey, like I don't have time for that. This is where Rhea Ripley hits a knuckle right hand. This is where Nia Jax answered her back with a right hand of her own. This is where everybody was booing Nia, and this is where everybody started cheering for Rhea, something that the Great One would do. Like they start cheering for the Eradicator to beat Nia Jax, like because for some reason nobody's not a Nia fan. Like they're more of a Nia hater than they are a Ripley hater. Like even the Ripley haters started booing that Nia because they do not want to see her as women's world champion for some reason. But this is where Rhea tried to pick her up and try to goop for a fireman's carry, perhaps a Samoan drop. And the last time I checked, I say she's not Samoan, but she's still trying to work on doing the maneuver. But this is where, anyways, probably to mock Nia Jax, but Nia Jax flips out of it. This is where she runs around. She turns around. This is where Nia Jax lands on top of her, hitting the face press, but she starts slamming the back of her head right onto the canvas. This is where Nia Jax went for a sit-out leg drop to the Eradicator. This is where she tried to pin her, but the referee counted one, the referee counted two. But this is where Zoe Stark hits a striking kick right into the face of Nia Jax for the save, but only for her sake of being the women's world champion. But it looks like that was not going to happen because Nia Jax hit her with a headbutt right to the head. This is where she tried to go for a spear right to the bottom right corner, but Zoe Stark moved right out of the way, right on time, landing on the right side of the apron. This is where she hits her shoulder first, right into the ring post. But this is where Zoe Stark hits a sliding kick onto Nia's knee. This is where Zoe Stark goes for that springboard double dip moonsault and turn it to a front flip rolling senton kind of maneuver, like a corkscrew splash. This is where Raquel Rodriguez hits a pouncing shoulder tackle. Shayna Baszler, this is where she tried to go for a big boot to Shayna Baszler, but she turned to an ankle lock, which she tied her legs together with her left leg in the middle of it. And this is where Rhea Ripley tried to go for a swinging front roundhouse kick, but instead this is where Shayna Baszler twists her leg and start bending it back and putting it onto her right leg, or start twisting that back like it feels a human leg pretzel, of course. This is where she got it locked into a submission hold. This is where Nia Jax came out of nowhere, and then she was right in front of Baszler, but she started hitting the Karafuda clutch, and this is where she got it locked in, like both Raquel and Ripley's legs and Nia Jax into the Karafuda clutch while in the process. And it looked like either woman could have tapped in that moment, but neither of them did not want to tap because that means they not only they will lose the match, lose the match. That means that Baszler will be the new women's world heavyweight champion, which that was probably not the predetermined plan though. But anyways, this is where. This is where Zoe Stark got back up and then saved the day. I believe super kicked Shayna Baszler, I believe. To save the day. Yeah, that's right. She super kicked both her and Nia Jax at the same time, killing two birds with one stone. This is where she pins Baszler, but she only gets a 2 even count. This is where Zoe Stark got what's her name? Raquel Rodriguez hits her with a snap, half Nelson Snapdragon. This is where Zoe Stark went right on, trying to go on the top rope, try to hit a top rope maneuver majig. This is where Rhea Ripley gets out and started hitting her with right hands right onto the top rope. This is where Rhea Ripley trying to go for a top rope suplex, but this is where she got countered and got hit hit with an axe handle right into the back. And this is where Rhea Ripley started hitting multiple single axe handle right to the back of her. This is where Rodriguez and Rodriguez were thinking the same thing onto Zoe Stark, which was the double suplex magic. And then this is where they did the double suplex. Like both women, everybody was down in that point. This is where Raquel Rodriguez hit the. This is where she hit the slap right onto Raquel. This is where Raquel pushed her again. This is where Rhea Ripley said, "You keep your filthy hands off of me." And this is where she's like, and she shoved her in the face. This is where Raquel Rodriguez continue her shoves. This is where Raquel Rodriguez go for a slap, but this is where Raquel Rodriguez slapped her right back, like slapping the taste out of each other's mouths. This is where both women were like yeah. And this is where Raquel Rodriguez said something, and I said something in Spanish. I bet she's like, I bet you couldn't do it quicker than me. This is where she tried to boot her right in the face. She ducks right on time. Raquel Rodriguez go for a bigger boot right onto Ripley, but Ripley was ready to hit a dropping boot right onto her in the process at the same time, doing a double collision on each other. And then it was Raquel Rodriguez rolled out of the ring. This is where Rhea Ripley rolled right behind her. This is where they were in the left side of the hardest part of the ring, which is the ring apron. This is where Zoe Stark double drop kicks the women. This is where Zoe Stark was continuing to be the dark horse into this match, being the least expected wrestler into this list of who's going to win the match. This is where she stepped right to the bottom left corner of Tina the Turnbuckle, going for a double dip splash right on everybody. This is where she throws Rhea Ripley back inside. This is where Zoe Stark tried to go for a springboard missile drop kick, but which brought Ripley down. This is where she knocked her off her feet. This is where she got her back up, hit her with her finishing move, which is the Z360, like impressively. Because when she tried to go for the pinfall, Nia Jax came out of nowhere, hits her with a sliding rib kick right onto Zoe Stark's ribs. This is where Nia Jax was like, this opportunity belongs to me. And then I was looking like the great one would probably think otherwise. This is where Nia Jax hits a headbutt right onto Zoe Stark, made her run right back onto the bottom ropes, and this is where she hits a body tackle right onto Zoe Stark. This is where she was about to hit her late cousin or uncle Yokozuna's move, I believe was her cousin. This is where Raquel Rodriguez rolled Zoe Stark out of the ring. This is where Raquel Rodriguez got up. This is where she hits an axe handle onto the spine of what's her name, Nia Jax. She did the impossible by lifting Nia Jax with one arm and taking her onto the middle of the ring and hit her with the Vahana Bomb, the most extremely insane and the most impossible Vahana bombs I have ever seen Raquel has ever did in her WWE career, of course. This is where she tried to pin her, but she only got a 2 count because Rhea Ripley came out of nowhere, stop her from getting the 3 count. This is where Rhea Ripley tried to go for the riptide right onto Raquel Rodriguez. This is where Shayna Baszler tried to go for the carry through the clutch, but this is where Ripley started rolling out like saying, no, like she started grabbing onto the left side of the ropes. This is where Raquel. This is where she nearly countered into a back suplex. Not until Raquel Rodriguez came out of nowhere, hits a boot right onto Raquel Rodriguez's face. This is where Rhea Ripley hits her headbutt, her manly headbutt to Raquel Rodriguez. This is where she tried to go for the riptide right onto Baszler, where she successfully did, looking like giving Shayna Baszler flashbacks. That's what it's called. Giving Shayna Baszler flashbacks from 4 years ago in their NXT days of her being the one that ended her second longest reigning defending championship reign is the NXT Women's Championship, of course. This is where she tried to pin Baszler, but this is where Zoe Stark came in right on time, breaking things up. This is where Zoe Stark finally had her on the top rope. This is where I was like, I'm not sure if it's a good idea. Like, not trying to be like my dad, like like a decade ago when he was telling John Cena that when he went on the top rope. This is where it started hitting the elbow right onto. That's where it started hitting the axe handles, countering Zoe Stark's attempt to do a suplex off the top rope. And she started countering, started hitting, about to hit her finishing move. Raquel Rodriguez tried to go for a pin to Baszler for the W win, but she should have known that Ripley and Zoe Stark was on the top rope. She should have worried about them first, then Baszler afterwards. But this was a huge rookie mistake from the former NXT Women's Champion of not paying attention to the Eradicator and Zoe Starks, because Rhea Ripley went right on top of Raquel and Baszler, which Baszler got the worst of it when she slammed Zoe Stark right into Raquel Rodriguez as a human weapon, like a deadly human weapon, right onto Raquel's back, and then when she crushed Baszler's front part of her body, like made her went down like into a triple brutal impact on three women. And this is where she picked up the pieces, took advantage, pinned Shayna Baszler, got the 1, 2, 3, gave Baszler flashbacks in the process, like from 4 years ago, from both women's NXT days. Rhea Ripley still the women's world champion, like most of us would predicted. But for anybody but that watched this match, who you thought was going to win this match? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And most of y'all, I would assume it will be Ripley, like I did, for the simple fact that she's going to hold on to that title for a while now until April of 2024. Whoever she faces, like perhaps a star that's going to be on Raw, possibly the one that formerly held the NXT Women's Championship like a week and a half ago. Perhaps the current World Heavyweight Champion's wife. But either way, we're going to see that in less than 6 months from now. But, yeah, we're going to move on to the next. We're going to move on to the next match or segment, which is up next. Let's see. But yeah, and when we talk about that match in general, do you think that all five of these women delivered into their respective rights of being the participants into this Women's World Championship match? Or do you think that they could have done better, especially Nia Jax? Which I would say Nia Jax is improving. Like when she started hitting her moves and start doing it and starting to be more safe and more cautious, like it's starting to be like you gotta give her credit when it's due. Like she's not purposely and unprofessionally injuring her opponents. Like she started doing like she's supposed to do as a professional. Like that's the job that she's supposed to be doing. But anyways, we got the John Cena versus Solo Sikoa match, which it didn't really take long. I mean, John Cena brought on some offense, like hitting some lefts and rights, and then Solo Sikoa the same, and then hitting each other with their respective moves, like with Solo Sikoa hitting the Samoan drop, the running hip attack, and I believe he tried to go for the spinning solo. John Cena counters, hits his shoulder blocks, duck, like the 5 moves of doom, 5-knuckle shuffle, and try to go for the attitude adjustment. Solo Sikoa somehow keeps countering out of the maneuver, making John Cena double cursed. And then, poor John Cena didn't stand a chance. But even though he tried to go for an STF, he went for an STF and nearly got him right there. But it wasn't enough to put away the enforcer of the bloodline, because I don't know how many times Solo Sikoa stuck John Cena's neck with his spiky thumb, which is known as the Samoan spike, trying to be like a better version of his uncle, which I'm not sure if that's the case. But he started repeatedly stuck in poor John Cena with his neck, even when he was down to the ground. And he started doing it like a dozen more times until he was down for good for the 1-2-3. And I thought this was a shame that John Cena didn't got a chance to win before he heads back to Hollywood. We're not sure when he's going to be back, and I think he's going to be out for the rest of 2023 until any time of 2024. But what do you think? Do you think that John Cena did the right thing by putting over Solo Sikoa, or do you think John Cena should have won and broke his 200? I mean, not 200. His 2,000 days as being broke his 2,000 day streak of not winning a a singles match. I mean, I'm so dense right now. I think it's this mask that keep distracting me on what I really need to say. But anyways, yeah, what do you think? Like, do you think he should have broken his 2,000 day streak of not winning a singles match, or do you think it was the right thing for him and the most professional thing for him to put over and pass the torch to Solo Sikoa? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. We're gonna move on to the next. We're gonna move on to the next segment, I guess you could say. This is where he got this is where John Cena had the special ovation from the fans, where the fans were like, "You deserve it," clap, 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 clap. Or thank you Cena chants. After they said you deserve it afterwards, but they were doing the thank you Cena chants for putting on a great show despite losing. Like, he really did. Like, he did his best of trying to win, but unfortunately, Solo was just a little bit too much for him tonight, for him to not beat the enforcer of the bloodline. And we also saw some hyping. We saw some hypes of the upcoming pay-per-view of NXT, which I'm gonna be doing the SNA podcast on in December, the early December, like possibly the first Saturday of December. But I'm gonna be talking about that, which will be NXT's pay-per-view, Over the Limit, I believe. Not Over the Limit. Deadline, not Over the Limit, Deadline. I'm thinking of WWE's pay-per-view from 2010, but anyways, yeah, we're gonna be talking about that. And what do you think about that? And who's gonna be on the card in the match? Which my first prediction is gonna be possibly Baron Corbin taking on Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes taking on his Trick Mello game or former Trick Mello game buddy Trick Williams. But anyway, this is where we finally we got the moment that we've been waiting for. But first, I'll just talk about that with Logan Paul taking on Rey Mysterio for the United States Championship match. With Logan Paul taking Rey Mysterio towards the corner of the turnbuckle, hitting striking right hands onto Rey Mysterio's midsection. First at the top left corner of the turnbuckle and the bottom left corner. Next Irish whipping on that's diagonal from the bottom left corner, which is the top right corner of the turnbuckle. But he landed his back first, right onto the tin of the turnbuckle. It's where he started goofingly started laughing of humiliating the poor legendary lucha superstar. He was like, this is y'all's hero, Mysterio. Like I'm not sure how long this is gonna last, and this is where he's like I understand why it sounds like a European accent rather than an American accent, because he's from America. He's from Cleveland, Ohio. But this is where the social media megastar slams Mysterio in a back-to-belly slamming maneuver. This is where he started swinging him around, hitting him with a gut-checking block right onto the masked underdog. This is where Mysterio's like, nah. He starts screaming in agony, like with what's his name, with Logan Paul, like swinging him right onto the ground. This is where he picks up. This is where he hits him with an elbow right into the back of the head of Logan Paul, and then back with lefts and rights. This is where he starts stepping. He finally stomped on the toe of Logan Paul to get him right off of him. This is where he started hitting striking elbow strikes, hitting forearms to the face of Logan Paul. This is where fans are cheering on to him. This is where Logan Paul managed to Irish whip him right on from the top corner ropes to the bottom ropes. Went right through, hits him with a swinging, with a flipping swinging backbreaker maneuver. This is where Logan Paul pins the masked luchador. This is where he only gets the 2 count. This is where Logan Paul's like, "Are you serious right now? Like, I know this is not my finisher, but like this guy is not really that much intimidating. Like, yeah, like, duh, like no kidding. Like you're just figuring this out right now." But this is where he puts Mysterio over his head, doing a gorilla press, doing some gorilla press, doing some of them gorilla pressed, what they call crunches on the top over his head, and slammed him right into the canvas face first. This is where Logan Paul runs right into the top rope, hits a running frog splash, trying to pin Mysterio, but only got a 1 even count. This is where he tried to go for another count, but he only got a 2.1 count. This is where he tried to go for another, but he only gets a 2.5 count. Like, I was like, yeah, you're not going to put away the mass underdog away easily like that. And this is where Logan Paul's like, come on. Come on. Like, I got to win it. Like, I got to win that United States Championship really badly. Like he's been saying for the past couple of weeks. Like ever since he challenged the luchador underdog for the belt. This is where he tried to go for a bear hug to Rey Mysterio. Start squeezing him and try to make him choke him out and suffocate him out of breath and out of air into his lungs, like squeezing his lungs and his mix section out with air that he has remaining inside his body, trying to squeeze it out so he can beat him with him fainting, like without a lack of oxygen. This is where Rey Mysterio was trying to roll out of it, but he was on his feet. But Logan Paul still managed to squeeze his arms around Rey Mysterio's waist of make sure he does not get no air in to get back his energy. This is where Rey Mysterio was barely hanging there. It looked like he was about to faint, but he would start slowly but surely escaping out of there, starting to elbow strike the shoulder of Logan Paul. But Logan Paul managed, even though he let go of Mysterio, but he managed to knee him right to the midsection. This is where he picks him up into a dominator position, but he got him in the shoulder backbreaker lock. This is where Rey Mysterio started elbowing him, countering Logan Paul, flips him right over, like makes him land right onto the bottom right corner of Team of the Turnbuckle. This is where Rey Mysterio picks up the YouTuber. This is where Logan Paul counters, hits him with a spine buster right into the bottom right corner, shoulder first right into the midsection of Mysterio. This is where Logan Paul was like, excuse me. Yeah, this is where Logan Paul's like, was arrogantly was smiling to the fans and boasting to them and gloating. This was like it seems like Rey Mysterio's not on my level. This is where Logan Paul goes for. This is where he tried to go for a running tacking spear, which he probably added some double extra, too much of a force, because when he tried to fly right and spear Rey Mysterio, he jumps and runs out of the way, which Logan Paul landed his shoulder right into the steel ring post, like left shoulder first, right into the steel ring post, like boom. He did so hard to the point he rolled right outside, rolled outside of the ring and then barely hanging into the ringside, like in the ringside area. This is where Rey Mysterio's like, okay, now it's my chance and my turn. This is where he goes for a suicide dive, like halfway onto the ropes, where right beside the steel ring post he hit his arm at when he tried to spear him, and inside onto the corner on the corner side. This is where both men were down. This is where the referee was continuing this 10+ count. This is where, but somehow Logan Paul counter Rey Mysterio's Irish whip of him getting into the ring and throw him instead, with Logan Paul hitting his Maverick Lariat, which is the exact replica of the buckshot lariat. He definitely took a page. He definitely took a page out of Hangman's playbook back last year when the last time he was in Saudi Arabia with a certain tribal chief for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. And then this is where he tried to pin the luchador for the 1-2, but he kicks out a 2.9 second count. This is where Logan Paul was like no matter, I've still got this. I'm gonna beat him and become new United States champion. This is where Logan Paul was Harley getting back up. This is where Harley got back up, I should say. This is where he was getting ready to do his secondary finishing move, which is the one lucky shot. Like he was getting ready to do so. This is what he started doing, getting ready to do he was getting in position, but this is where Rey Mysterio ducks out of the way, which was the smart move from the masked luchador. Hits him with a flying head scissors into the ring. This is where he got him in the crossface. I was like, yeah, he's showing him, possibly showing him a reference to one of the other greats of a former United States champion, which WWE's not going to reference ever again if WWE continues to have their way. But this is where, under the perspective of that, but anyway, this is where Logan Paul finally got onto the ropes, grabbed on with his right hand, which the same one that he was trying to do the one lucky shot to the Rey Mysterio. Excuse me for a second. Hey, Grandpa. Oh, I thought Mama was gonna call you. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, we made it home okay. Yes, sir. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Oh, I believe he's in his room right now. I think he's busy right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna let Mama know that right now. Okay, I'll talk to you later too, Grandpa. Oh. Okay. Yeah. All right. Bye-bye, Grandpa. Bye-bye. Yeah. You have a great night. Thank you so much. Okay, yeah, this is where he got his hands onto the ropes, which is the same ones who were trying to hit the lucky shot to Rey Mysterio. You try to hit Rey Mysterio with, and then I'm gonna give you a spoiler alert. Let's just say he finally got the opportunity to do it, which I'm not gonna get into, just yet. I'm gonna tell you. Full complete coverage of the bout. This is where Rey Mysterio finally got off of him. This is where he goes for a roundhouse kick, round to the midsection, hits the right hand, which everybody was cheering for the masked luchador. This is where he tried to go for. This is where he goes for a springboard moonsault. Logan Paul somehow intercepted, grabbed it onto Rey Mysterio, onto his shoulders. This is where he got his knees down. This is where he hits him with a power slam. This is where he got the pin Rey Mysterio, but he only got 2.8 second count. Logan Paul's like, "Are you serious? How did he kick out of that? That's where Logan Paul picks up Rey Mysterio. This is where he went right up on the top rope. This is where he was getting ready to go for a top rope suplex to Rey Mysterio. But this is where Logan Paul started hitting striking back elbows to the midsection of the megastar, the social media megastar, I should say. This is where Rey Mysterio went right on the top rope. This is where Rey Mysterio was like doing a spin around like a tornado, a circle of his signature sit out senton. But this is where Logan Paul caught him in up in the top rope, hitting striking right hands, going for a backflip fall away slam, like with him still on him, doing a moonsault in the process, trying to look like Johnny TV, aka John Morrison, of course. This is where he pins Rey Mysterio, but he only got a 2.8 second count. A moonsault fall away slam, which Wade Barrett recall it like onto his when he was in commentary with Michael Cole, calling the match on tonight's Crown Jewel. This is where Logan Paul tried to go for another move in mind. This is where he, like, come on, like, I still have more left in the tank. This is where he tried to go for a frog splash which I should say the Maverick frog splash, mocking Rey Mysterio's best friend and Rey Mysterio himself, like his best friend, the late great Eddie Guerrero. This is where Rey Mysterio moved out of the way, which was the smartest move Rey Mysterio could have possibly done into this match. This is where Logan Paul tried to go for the razor's edge onto Mysterio, but he flips out of it, got him into getting ready to go for a 619 to Logan Paul, which we tried to do the maneuver, but Logan Paul blocked it, and he's the other guy that. And then this won't be the last time Rey Mysterio tried to attempt a 619, but it will be successful, which we're going to get to that later in just a moment. This is where Rey Mysterio hit a step up Instigiri on the apron, right onto the top, right onto the bottom corner. This is where Rey Mysterio tried to go for a moonsault, but he hangs. But this is where Logan Paul hangs onto his legs before he can do anything. This is where he tried to go for the electric chair off the top rope, but Rey Mysterio counters. This is where he goes for a sunset flip power bomb right onto Logan Paul. This is where he goes for a sunset flip power bomb, like looking which is the code red, but he only got a 2.9 second count. This is where both men was down. Logan Paul was crawling right to the bottom left corner of the ring, or not bottom, the top left corner. This is where one of his YouTube boys passed him his brass knucks into a sneaky manner without the referee seeing him. This is where he had him onto his hand. This is where what Michael Cole called him, one of Logan Paul's cronies. Like, this is where he speared him right to the, not speared him, I should say, shoved Logan Paul right onto the bottom. Like, he grabs him right into a back body position and shoves him right back, shoulder first, right onto the inner part of the ring post, into the bottom, or not the bottom, the top left corner, I should say. This is where Logan Paul dropped him outside the ring. He's like, my brass knucks. Like, and he told his crony assistant to try to sneakily grab it for him. This is where he did so. This is where he did so, but this is where some dress shoes was stepping right onto the brass knucks before Logan Paul's crony assistant tried to grab onto it, and that person is none other than Santos Escobar. Like, he was there, it's like, no way, Jose, like, not today, like yeah, you better go away. And it's like before the sleeves comes up, go up more higher. Like, I'm giving you a fair warning, and this is where he's like, I know you go back, Santos. I don't want no trouble. Like, I'm not gonna fight. Like, you win. Like, you go back to your post, and I'll go back to mine. And I'm running. Like, and this is where he started running, trying to get away from Santos Escobar, but he's not gonna let it. But Santos Escobar was not gonna buy it, or even fall for any of his shenanigans. He chased them out of the arena with them going over the barricade right onto the top, right over the barricade out into the audience, like out of the arena, like which was in the bottom right corner, I believe. But yeah, excuse me. But anyway, yeah, this is where Rey Mysterio rolled out of the way, hits him with a drop kick onto the ropes, onto the top corner, I believe. And this is where he tried to go for a 619, which he did so. This is where he tried to go for the springboard, I believe, sit-out senton to bring down the social media megastar. This is where he gets hit with those Zach brass knucks hit him with the brass knucks that was passed by his crony assistant, like the crony assistant that passed him earlier, which he did a cheap shot, like get the lucky shot. He got the 1, 2, 3, and now he's the new United States champion. Like most guys that were predicting who's going to be the winners on WWE's Crown Jewel event, which they look like 95% of the fans or the journalists were right about Logan Paul winning, like for the fact that Logan Paul could benefit off of being a champion, even though it's a mid-card champion, not a world championship. And this is the second ever championship match. Even like I said, it's a mid-card championship, and nothing like what Roman Reigns got is the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. But anyways, he won the championship. It looked like he's going to be bragging all over social media, including YouTube, on his latest Impulsive podcast, and also bringing it to his latest boxing shows. Like, do something like a Brock Lesnar kind of way. Like I wonder, like, did he, like, when Brock Lesnar was Universal Champion, did he fall in the UFC back in 2018? It's gonna be something like similar. Except he's like in MMA, while Logan Paul's a boxer and / wrestler. But anyways, yeah. And what do you think about this latest win from Logan Paul? Do you think he should have won, or do you think Rey Mysterio should have remained as United States champion? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And do you think it's going to be a long-term, like it's going to be like a long-term plan for him to be United States champion, or just to have him hold the championship for at least a month or two until losing it to someone like, I don't know, I'm not going to give away who it could possibly be. It could be Kevin Owens. It could be somebody else. It could be anybody that could be in the mid-card on SmackDown at this time that could possibly beat Logan Paul for the title. But then again, he could hold on to the championship for at least half a year, if not a full year. But only time will tell when that happens. But yeah, we got a new champion out of Logan Paul. We're going to talk about. But yeah, up next we got some Miz TV segment with the Miz with his special guest. Let's see right here, like from this home country actor star, like that's been on so many movies, like in Hollywood. Like I don't remember his name by heart, but I'm gonna look it up right here. Come on. Let's see right here. No, it was Bianca Belair against Io Sky now. Like Bianca Belair tried to I believe spear ram Io Sky right onto the bottom left corner of not Rita ring post Tina the turnbuckle. But yeah, this was Io Sky taking on the EST Bianca Belair for the WWE Women's Championship match. But it's where Io Sky hit the drop kick right onto Bianca, made her did a backflip. This is where Io Sky tried to drag. This is where she grabs onto her leg, starts stomping onto the back leg, which I believe was the same bad leg that that her and Bayley damaged from back in August, like the right her off of television, and that's why she's been out of TV for 2 months, like since August until October, but now she's back, and it looks like we're gonna see plenty of her, like regardless, like for especially what happened tonight, and like I'm gonna talk about that in just a sec, like until the very end of this recap. This is where Io Sky started grabbing onto Bianca Belair's leg, hits a stand-up knee right onto the leg of Bianca Belair, dragon screw Bianca's leg into the process. This is where Io Sky hits a forearm right to the face of Bianca Belair. This is where Io Sky tried to go for attacking splash, but this is where she puts I believe her good leg right onto the right side, but her bad leg, like she bent it right back like if she was the Miz, like except in the opposite manner. This is where she started grabbing on her legs, like oh my god, like this is where Io Sky only got a 1 even count from the referee Jessica Carr. This is where she started hitting spinning roundhouse kick right onto the right leg. This is where she started bending it back, started twisting it where it shouldn't be twisted whatsoever. This is where she picks the EST back up. This is where EST hits a kneeling jawbreaker on like in the middle of the ring, like nearly breaking Io Sky's jaw, hitting her with a schoolgirl roll up, which is known as the most devastating move in all sports entertainment. This is where she hits a double under chicken wing into a suplex to Io Sky. I was like, this has to be some kind of a Lita tribute outfit, because it looked like something that Lita would wear, like she did like a year ago when she faced Becky Lynch for that very same women's championship, except it was the Raw Women's Championship at the time. When Becky Lynch was the Raw Women's Champion, she defended against Lita last February when they had Elimination Chamber in Saudi Arabia. But that was like February. That was like a year and a half ago, back in February 2022. But anyway, this is where Io Sky hits a face plant right into the I would say the top right side of the canvas, I should say. Face first, like top left side of the canvas. This is where Io Sky tried to grab onto that leg, bending it in the back of the knee, started bending it back like into like an ankle lock position. But she got one right foot right into her Io Sky's face, started bending her knee right onto that side, like pulling it and bending it like with that leg. This is where Io Sky started continuously try to go back on the other side, try to bend it that way, like upward, like forward, like bending it up like this, like This is where she goes for a wheelbarrow maneuver, flips Bianca Belair over like in the snapmare position, hits a double foot stomp right into her face, into her head. This is where Io Sky, not face, her midsection. This is where she pins Bianca, but she only got a 2 even count, like. And then this is where Io Sky tried to do more damages aiming onto Bianca's leg, bending it back like into some kind of a bottom, like more of a lower figure 4 and sharpshooter combo, like a double combo, like of both, like into the ground, like bending it back, like twisted it back, like with both her legs tied together with her arm, and she's bending it backwards, making Bianca scream in agony. This is where Bianca Belair started hitting right hands right onto Io Sky's face. Like she started repeatedly doing that to her face and head, but this That's where Io Sky was not letting go until finally she did. Like when she laid out, this is where she tried to grab onto Bianca's legs more, but she pushes them out of the way. This is where she tries to try to hit a middle splash right onto Io Sky, but she moves right out of the way, right on time. Pushed her out of the corner. This is where Io Sky went right on the top rope. This is where Io Sky was going for a top rope missile drop kick, but Bianca Belair moved right out of the way. And she landed her back first right onto the canvas, like, which I say that's not a very beautiful sight, like for anybody to land back first, even in the canvas, because like everybody said, like that does not feel soft. It's not like feeling it like if you're landing on a cushion pad. Like rather than landing on, I would say it's like landing on a soft wall. I would say like nothing but a soft spackled wall. I would say, yeah, it's like landing on that, to say the least. This is where Bianca Belair was getting back up, like trying to get ready to get back in the game. This is where she picks up Io Sky, hits a fallaway slam. This is where Bianca Belair trying to take some movement back into her left leg because her leg was giving her some issues. This is where she finally hits a kip up, back up into her feet. This is where she started stepping, barely standing with her right leg, I believe. This is where Bianca Belair said, "Come here, like I'm ready for you." This is where Io Sky tried to run right towards Bianca, but she instantly gets body slammed by the EST. This is where Bianca Belair hits another body slam right onto Io Sky. Hits one more, third time charm. This is where Bianca Belair try to go for a fourth one, but Io Sky pushed her out of the way. This is where she tried to close on, but Io Sky runs right to the right side of the rope. Try to go for a flying head scissor slam right onto Bianca Belair. I say slam more like a maneuver. This is where she gets gut busted by the EST, like a flipping gut buster. This is where Bianca Belair pins the Genius of the Sky, but she instantly kicks out of the EST's pinfall attempt. This is where Bianca Belair was looking up into the ceiling, like what to do to put away the Genius of the Sky. This is where she had her onto the top rope. This is where she goes for try to go for a top rope suplex to the Genius of the Sky. This is where she just looked like she successfully trying to do so with that. This is where Io Sky rolled right under Bianca's legs. This is where she trips her over and makes her land right on the top rope. This is where she was in the Tree of Woe position. This is where Io Sky started tying her legs to get her in a knot. Elbow in her left leg, which was her bad leg, I believe. And it is where she did a vintage drop kick right onto that bad leg, making that leg even more worse to make it more of a disadvantage to the EST. This is where Io Sky, she thought she had her right where she wanted. This is where she pinned her into a roll-up position, but she only got a 2 count, like a 2.1 count. This is where she started bending her leg back into in the back of her head, started squeezing her head, trying to make Bianca tap out, but we already knew she was not going to tap, like regardless, like of whatever the results is going to be. This is where Bianca Belair hits a German suplex, which made Io Sky did a backflip, like not in a good way in her perspective, of course, like with her landing like right in the middle in her midsection into the canvas, like with Bianca Belair back into the match. This is where she tried to go for a pin to the EST. This is where she only gets a 2.7, if not 8 count of a seconds. This is where Bianca Belair thought that she could think about going possibly for a finishing move, grabbing Io Sky from her head, but for some reason she just hit a striking right hand, but Io Sky answered back with a forearm of her own. This is where the fans started giving response. This is where the Saudi Arabian fans were cheering for Bianca Belair, but instantly was booing onto Io Sky. Boo! And it's like, yay, boo, yay, boo, yay, boo. And this is where they started going back and forth and them hitting blows onto each other. This is where Io Sky tried to go for that, I would say that Japanese uppercut, but this is where she gets denied by Bianca. She grabbed onto her arm, she hits a double chicken wing face buster to the Genius of the Sky. And this is where she tried to go for the maneuver. This is where Io Sky moved out of the way and she tried to go for that wheelbarrow stomp. No, don't do that. This has water inside. No, it's not gonna clean. It's not gonna clean Uncle Julian's laptop. It's gonna make it ruined. No, Treyu. No. What are you doing? Anyway, this is where they did the double foot stomp, but you know the rules. Like when it doesn't work the first time, it's gonna be a guaranteed. It's gonna be unsure if it's gonna work the second time, which that was the case for Io Sky. This is where Bianca Belair hits the surprise roll up. Treyu, no, it's gonna ruin Uncle Julian's laptop if you're not careful. But anyway, this is where Io Sky tried to go for the running Hurricane Rana, like after the pinfall. This is where Bianca Belair caught her in midair, and this is where she was getting ready to go for her powerbomb face buster maneuver, which she did so. This is where Bianca, no, Trey, you don't play like that. It's not gonna be But anyway, yeah, we're gonna move on to the. This is where she kicks out at 2.999, like into the match. This is where Bianca Belair try to get ready to go for her signature, I would say, springboard moonsault that you usually do. But this is where Io Sky tried. This is where Bianca Belair were near the steel steps. This is where Io Sky did not learn from her leader Tropicana Bailey and her best friend and Baszler and who else was it? Oh yeah, Becky Lynch, which is Bailey's other fellow four horsewoman in the WWE. Like she grab onto her hair, but she gets pulled back and hits shoulder first right onto the ring post, the steel ring post, in the inside part of the ring post. Like what that supports the turnbuckles inside the ring. This is where Bianca Belair is back on her feet. This is where she tried to go for her secondary finishing move, like which is the 450 splash. Like, but this is where Tropicana Bailey came out of nowhere, right onto the right side of the ringside area, like into the outside. This is where she tried to go for the fourth. But this is where Io Sky pulls Bianca Belair's long ponytail, make her do the front flip right into the canvas. This is where Io Sky thought this was going to be an easy win. She went for a pin, but this is where she learned the hard way that Bianca Belair was going to kick out, even though it was 2.9 seconds. But yeah, it was not good. It was a guarantee that it was going to be a kick out anyways. This is where Bailey's like, you still got this. You still got this, buddy. Like, you still got this, Io. Like, yeah. Like, keep on trying. Like, you got it. Like, and then this is where Io Sky tried to go for the double underhook backbreaker, their signature move. This is where Bianca Belair flips right out of the maneuver. This is where she tried to go for the KOD. This is where she flips over Io Sky onto the bottom side of the apron in the outer side of the ring, like, which Io flips out because she was hanging out of the ring. But this is where Bianca Belair tried to get her back in the ring, but she gets hot-shotted by Io Sky. This is where she gets back in the ring. This is where she throws Bianca Belair right back on the outside, except onto the bottom bottom side onto the apron, like with Io Sky. Like right after Bianca Belair tried to go for a spear, but she dodged her spear. This is where she hit the forearm in the kick, like, and she tried to tie her long ponytail to into onto the top rope, like, but she started kneeing her knee right onto the face of Bianca Belair, like right into the middle of the ropes, like by using her hair against her, like every woman onto the that's in the roster, like would do, like using that against Bianca, which I'm not sure. Like 50% of the time, you should not be doing that because she's going to be using that again, using that to backfire your plans on using her hair against her, trying to use it as a disadvantage for her. This is where Io Sky goes for a top rope, goes onto the top rope. This is where she tried to go for the Genius Moonsault, I believe, right off the top rope. But she did so successfully, bringing the EST down into the canvas. This is where she threw. I mean, not canvas, right onto the concrete, right onto the concrete floor. This is where she tried to go for a springboard drop kick, which she also did successful maneuver onto the top rope. This is where she tried to pin Bianca Belair, but she only get another 2.9 count. Of course, this is where Io Sky was getting ready to probably hit her finishing move, like when she finally successfully hits her striking Japanese uppercut that she usually do, which it didn't work the first time, but you know the statistic. If it didn't work the first time, it's going to be a guaranteed the second time. This is where Bianca Belair hits a spine buster right onto in the middle of the ring, like when Io Sky tried to run right onto the right side of the ropes, through the ropes. So I go for a striking attack to the EST, but yeah, she intercepts into a spine buster. This is where she stacks up Io Sky into a roll up, but this is where she only got a 2.999 count. This is where she tried to go for. This is where she goes for a springboard moonsault, which Io Sky rolled out of the way. This is where Io Sky tried to go for a back to belly roll up. This is where she Bianca Belair rolled out and did try to go for a back to belly maneuver herself, respectively. Io Sky slides down through the ropes and hit her with a hot shot. Hit her face and the front of part of her body right onto the ropes hard. With Io Sky going for a double dip springboard splash or drop kick, which she didn't like. She wasn't warned about. Like if she tried to attempt to do it the first time, if she successfully attempts to do the move the first time, you're going to do it the second time. It won't be a guaranteed the second time. Like whether if you're double lucky or not, like it won't be a guaranteed. Like you have to be double lucky or just be average. The average, in order to you have to be double lucky or not. Like whether you have to be like average, like you have to like your average. Like if it works the first time, it probably won't work the second time, which that was the case for Io Sky. She gets hit with the double chicken wing face buster. Finally, Bianca Belair did so. She would have had this one if it hadn't been for Tropicana Bailey distracting the EST of distracting referee like that. Hey, like you can't allow her to do that to my best friend Io. And then this is where Bianca Belair chased her everywhere into the ringside, like trying to give her what she deserved. Like, I would say not chasing. I would say clothesline her first off the apron, then chased her out. This is where she hit the crossbody. That's what she did. She did a springboard cross over the top rope. This is where we saw Bianca Belair start hitting a single axe handle like 3 or 4 times in a row. This is where Io Sky tried to go for a missile drop kick right onto Bianca Belair, but Bianca Belair moved right on time, gets missile drop kick. She accidentally missile drop kicks Bailey instead. This is where Io Sky's like, what did I done? Like, no. And this is where Bianca Belair throws her right into the former Barry barricade, like back first. This is where she throws her right back into the ring. Referee was too distracted. This is where we saw seeing another Japanese women, a Japanese woman, and this fans who are not aware of the pirate princess, like you would say who the hell is this? Who the hell this Japanese woman is? And I was like, and it was none other than the former NXT Women's Champion Kairi Sane. She finally made her long-awaited return, leaving Stardom and New Japan Pro Wrestling, and now making her three-long-year return to WWE. And this is where she hits a spinning back fist out of nowhere to Bianca Belair, hits a striking knee strike right off a barricade, throw her back in the ring, give Io Sky enough time to hit the Genius Moonsault for the 1-2-3, retaining her WWE Women's Championship in the process, and it looked like that. And it looks like Kairi Sane joining the Damage Control. That's what Bayley's faction's called. She's probably added as the new addition of Damage Control. That's what the new addition of Damage Control. And at the end of the match, the post-match beatdown, she hits her with the insane elbow right onto Bianca Belair to confirm things. And then the last time she was on TV, on WWE television, she was wiped out by the person that's the same person that's the leader of Damage Control, which is Bayley herself. And I don't know why that she did that. Like then again, she could be not joining Damage Control. She's just probably fooling Bayley and Io Sky so she can take the title off of her herself. Like I said, that prediction, she could be the first ever Japanese women's wrestler to main event SmackDown, or the next upcoming premium live event, which I would say will be SmackDown in December. But it won't be only Io Sky and Kairi Sane. It'll be none other than Kairi Sane's former tag partner Asuka for her former Kabuki Warrior tag partner. It'll be a triple threat. It'll be the first three Japanese women to main event a SmackDown show for the WWE Women's Championship being on the line, of course. But what do you think about this scenario? Is Kairi Sane the new member of the Damage Control, or do you think that she's doing this the trick Bayley and Io Sky just for her to win the Women's Championship? Either way, it looks like she made an enemy out of this plan, out of Bianca Belair, of course. And we're probably going to see them we're going to be in a program, at least for this month at this time. At least that's how I see it. But yeah, let me know in the comments, and only time will tell to see what's going to happen next. But yeah, I believe we got up next. We have Miz TV now, which his special guest was what's his name? I forget his name. He's from Saudi Arabia. But he's a very famous actor. Let's see right here. But yeah, either way, he before he had a chance to cut a promo, this is where Grayson Waller interrupted. This is where he's like finally the Miz is bringing in an actual movie star onto his Miz TV segment. But enough about him. It's gonna be the cancellation of the Miz TV, and now it's going to be the Grayson Waller effect, which he took down everything. Have his crew, his moving crew, take down everything the Miz had, these chairs and the red carpet, and bring in I believe the blue carpet with some with some palm trees, like in his chairs and that he has on his show, which the Miz was like I've been doing this for 20 years and you've been here for 20 minutes. And then this is where Grayson Waller was like, yeah, you're right, Miz. Like, I've been there for 20 minutes, but I'm also gonna I'm the much bigger star than you are. Like, and I'm like, and for you to be recognized for that long, like I'm gonna do it for less than a year. I do it with less than a year, and you've been here since 2005. Like now it's 2023. Like now you're gonna let guys like you're gonna, and Grayson Waller said you're gonna let guys like me shine, and I am gonna be the next the upcoming Grand Slam champion and the biggest star that you wish that you could have ever been, and for those for almost 20 years of being here. And then this is what made the Miz so mad. Like, and this is where he was getting ready to fight him. Like, this is where I believe this Saudi Arabian actor like had some jokes onto Grayson Waller. Like, I'll silly me to forget him. Like, but it was goofy wrestling of the night, of course. But yeah, this is where they beat up Grayson Waller. Like with the Miz. Or first it was like what's his name hits him with a swinging knee, right, with him being on the corner apron, right after the Miz was beating the absolute sugar honey iced tea out of Grayson Waller. This is where this is where he tried to go for the skull crushing finale to Grayson Waller, but this is where he slid him into this actor's way. This is where he kicks him right into the face. This is where he finally hits the skull crushing finale. This is where the Saudi Arabian actor hits the people's elbow, like which he slightly hit him right onto Grayson Waller, just like what Snoop Dogg did to The Miz at WrestleMania back in Night 2's WrestleMania 39 this past April. But what do you thought about this segment? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And this is where The Miz start taking his palm trees and Grayson Waller. He started throwing Grayson Waller's potted palm trees and chairs out of the ring after or was it before? No, it was before. Like he did the skull crushing finale on Grayson Waller. And then but anyway, we have this match with the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes against Damian Priest. This is where Damian Priest brought him outside the ring. This is where he was beating down the American Nightmare. This is where he tried to go for the Razor's Edge crucifix bomb after he took everything off the timekeeper's area, right onto the announcer's table. Took everything off the sign, the computer, off the time desk. This is where the American Nightmare learned from a couple weeks ago on Raw. This is where he rolled out of the way, hitting Damian Priest face first right in the rear of the ring post. This is where Cody Rhodes redid the 10 count by running into the ring, hitting a suicide dive right onto the Archer of Infamy, or the Punisher of the Judgment Day, I should say. This is where Cody Rhodes had him right onto the announce table. This is where Cody Rhodes had him right on the top rope. This is where he tried to go for like a suplex right off the two out on the announce table, but he gets cymbal slapped right onto Damian Priest's arms, like right across from his hands through his face. This is where he turned around. This is where Damian Priest go for the Day of Reckoning, which is the same move that he stole from Cody Rhodes, because if you can't see the similarities, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, it's very clear he got that move. He just called a different move. Crossroads, like, stealing his move, like the Day of Reckoning, but he calls it his own version of the move, which is the Reckoning. That's what he calls it. It's where the fans, I guess, was smart-assingly was saying one more time. He's like, no. That's one's good enough for you. This is where he throws Cody Rhodes back in the ring. This is where Damian Priest is like, I'm gonna do it one more time on my terms. Inside this ring this time. This is where he starts smiling, like stalking the American Nightmare, trying to do it again, try to go for the reckoning to finish off the American Nightmare. This is where he did this pose, but Cody Rhodes did the version of the move, his own version of the move. When he rolled out of it, like hitting it in the process, slamming him, doing one, slamming one right into the middle of the ring, hitting the crossroads, laying Damian Priest out, with him laying flat on his back after taking a blow, of getting countered by from the American Nightmare, like, and Cody Rhodes showed how it's done, and if he's gonna copy him, he's gonna show him how to do it right, which he did. So this is where Finn Balor came out after he hit the crossroads onto Damian Priest. This is where Finn Balor started to do a little jogging running pose, like once he started the running right to his tag partner Damian. For the aid of Damian Priest. This is where he started distracting the American Nightmare. This is where JD McDonough tried to attack him, try to ambush the American Nightmare, but Cody Rhodes was prepared. He hits him with a right striking punch right into the jaw of JD McDonough. This is where Jey Uso grabs what's his name? This is where Finn Balor lands right outside the ring. This is where Damian Priest gets back up. This is where he hits. This is where he hits Cody Rhodes with a what's that called? With a choking with a choke slam, a sit out choke slam. That's what I call it, a sit out choke slam. This is where. With the South Heavens choke slam, that's what he calls it. This is where he trying to pin him, thinking he's going to win with that maneuver, because 50% of the time he does win with that move, but not tonight, because when he tried to pin Cody Rhodes, he got a 1, he got a 2, but Cody Rhodes hits the shoulder up 2.999 seconds, which leads to a negative 0.3 seconds from being 3. This is where Cody Rhodes kicks out of that. Cody Rhodes kicks out of the maneuver. This is where Damian Priest also. This is where Finn Balor had a dirty Dominic Mysterio with a steel chair coming out of the ring, coming straight down the ramp, like coming towards into the arena, towards the ring, I should say. This is where he tried to get the chair for Damian Priest to finish off Cody Rhodes, but even if he did that, it would be in broad daylight with what's his name with Cody Rhodes. Like, I mean, it will give Cody Rhodes the advantage of him getting the guaranteed win. This is where, before he had the chance to get in the ring, this is where he gets blindsided by main event Jey Uso, super kicking him in the process, get him from the side to the bottom. From the bottom side of the ringside area, super kicking him onto Dominic's right, like making him drop down to the ground. This is where JD McDonough not JD McDonough. First it was not Jey Uso. This was pathetic. Like, oh really? Like, if you really think I'm pathetic, like, why are you watching this video right now? Like, really? Like, I may not be the best of the best right now, but that doesn't mean you have to insult me like that. LOL. Well, if you excuse me, I'm gonna be continuing my journalism of this latest edition of the WWE's Premium Live event in Saudi Arabia, aka Crown Jewel. But this is where first it was Finn Balor. He goes to stepping on some of the steel steps, standing and going for a crossbody, but he gets super kicked away. This is where JD McDonough tried to go for a clothesline to Jey Uso. Like, this is where he super kicks him soon after he ducks out of McDonough's clothesline, knocking him down. Like, ooh, oh, like. But yeah, I can't help it that I'm not like quite there yet, but also, yeah. I just did. Like, didn't I just did that? That's why I understand what you're saying. Well, if you excuse me, like, if you think I'm pathetic, like, I would say, like, I would say recommend you to watch another video on YouTube. Like, perhaps watch my other videos that I made on YouTube. Like, whatever ones that you think that is the best one. If you think that the cupboards, at least, what's that supposed to mean? But whatever, I'm not gonna mind you. Like, you're really not helping right now, Mr. Dallypool. I hope I pronounced that right, by the way. But anyways, we're gonna talk about more into WWE. Like, if you think my journalism is pathetic, like, why don't you just tell me how it's done, and also show me some pointers on how to be a journalist, at least. Yeah. Oh, my apologies. I thought you were calling me pathetic. You're calling yourself okay, but yeah, I wouldn't call you per se pathetic. I don't even know you, so I would say per se that you're pathetic, of course. So yeah, but yeah, make sure you watch until the very end. Like, I don't know what you meant by that. Like, I should have known with the laughing emojis, of course. But yeah, I mean, I kind of did, but I'm not sure if you were serious or not. But yeah, we're gonna talk about more about this Damian Priest versus Cody match, like with Damian Priest was getting too distracted to what was going on outside with Jey Uso cleaning house, like with JD Madonna and Dominic Mysterio and Finn Balor, but he got hit with Cody with the most devastating move in all sports entertainment because he was too much in the distraction. This is where Cody Rhodes goes right onto the. This is where he hits a Cody cutter right onto Damian Priest, like, and this is where he starts saying, "Yeah, like, let's do this." And this is where he started hitting his daddy's finishing move, which he started hitting the right hands, boom, 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 doing the sideways rocking arms, rolling his arms up and forward, hits him with an elbow strike right between the eyes, and then. But yeah, Mr. Dallypool, like, hopefully you're enjoying the video, by the way, and enjoying this recap of Crown Jewel. And if you do, make sure you leave a big thumbs up and continue to comment down below and subscribe. Like, if you enjoyed this content, of course. But anyways, we're going to talk about more about what went down on the latest edition of WWE's Crown Jewel event. This is where Cody Rhodes hits the signature move, the Cuddy Cutter. He hits him with 3 straight crossroads. He got the 1, 2, 3, and he got the win. And after he hits the striking elbow strike, that's like his daddy would do, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Or no, he hits the bionic elbow the first time. He hits that first, and that was the one he kicks out of that. He hits him with the 3 crossroads to make sure he was completely down for the count, which he was at the last minute. He got the 1, 2, 3. He wins. He remains undefeated for now, except for losing this year to Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. Well, in his second encounter with Brock Lesnar in his trilogy against the Beast Incarnate and in his Night 2 main event WrestleMania match. But I think Cody Rhodes is going to keep regaining some of his momentum back and start remaining as an undefeated figure after losing the likes of Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar from half a year ago. And what do you guys think, including you, Dallypool? Like, do you think that Cody Rhodes is going to remain undefeated and finish the story and finally doing so at next year's WrestleMania, beating Roman Reigns in the process? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And do you think he's going to finally finish the story, being the one dethroning Roman Reigns, or do you think somebody completely different is going to beat Roman Reigns? Like, which I would say, let me know down below. Like, because we're not sure if who you thought was going to walk out as and most importantly, who do you think is going to win the WWE Undisputed Championship tonight from tonight's Crown Jewel? Were y'all's predictions on Roman Reigns or LA Knight? And yes, sir, I'm talking to you too, Mr. Dallypool. Like, I would love I'd love to hear your comments as well, along with the other viewers that's going to be watching this video in the future. And also, we're going to be talking about what's happened next into the LA Knight versus Roman Reigns match, which I'm going to get to the short and sweet to the point of that recap, which Roman Reigns was had the most advantage. This is where he started hitting grappling moves like headlocks onto the LA Knight, but LA Knight started to come back, flip him right over, hits him with a leapfrog, hits him with not hit with a leapfrog, go for a leapfrog, hits him with arm drags, hits him with suplex. But Roman Reigns managed to have him in a half a guillotine right into the ground, like if he was doing a gator roll position. Like, very funny, Claypool. Do you think I really did that? No, that was my nephew who did that. It's a long story. Yeah. Minister, read the message. Okay, go ahead. Keep on messaging me like onto this live stream, onto the Crown Jewel review of my 105th episode of the SNA podcast. Make sure you watch to the very end, and also up next I'm gonna have my AEW Collision review. Make sure you check that out as well after this video. You got that, Mr. Claypool? Not Claypool. I mean Dallypool. My bad. But yeah. Anyways, this is where Roman Reigns started going for the half guillotine. This is where he started saying are you still with us, LA Knight? And then LA Knight's like, yes, I'm still with. Really long as a YouTube. What do you mean by that, Mr. Dallypool? Dud? Huh? I don't really follow you. What do you mean by dud? But anyways, this is where Roman Reigns got back up on his feet. He was like, yeah, he may have gotten onto the ropes, but he's not gonna stop himself from getting smashed by me. Still reading? Oh, okay. Never mind. Yeah. Keep on still reading. But yeah, keep on watching to the very end, and I'm still gonna keep recapping what went down on Monday Night Raw. But anyways, this is where Roman Reigns was back up. This is where he got LA Knight right to the bottom. I mean, not back up. He was up, he was getting ready to hit LA Knight with an attack move, which was a striking clothesline with a left arm. It's dumb in English. What's that supposed to mean? But anyways, this is where Roman Reigns clotheslines LA Knight right to the bottom left corner of Tina the Turnbuckle. That's right. But anyways, this is where Roman Reigns goes. This is where Roman Reigns was getting insulted with some very non-PG language. Go to bed, FS, huh? What that's supposed to mean? But anyways, this is where everybody was chanting some very non-PG language to Roman Reigns, calling him an a-hole, when he was being absolutely evil to their favorite wrestler, which it was LA Knight. Yeah, man. But anyways, I'm really not following you right now. Just keep watching if you don't have nothing logical to say. No offense, Mr. Claypool. Not Claypool, Dallypool. Yeah. But yeah, your English is not really the best right now, with all due respect. But anyways, we're gonna talk about LA Knight. It's where This is where LA Knight was like, no, 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 taking a catchphrase out of Roman Reigns' playbook. I'm not Roman Reigns. He is Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns taking a page out of LA Knight's playbook, saying like, no, 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 no. Like, you got it all wrong. Like, I am not the a-hole. This is where Roman Reigns clotheslines him once again, but this time in the bottom right corner, tossing him in the other side. This is where Roman Reigns was like at the end of the night, y'all gonna be have no choice but to acknowledge me because I'm your true champion. Okay, I'll do it in just a sec. But anyways, this is where Roman Reigns try to go for an attack, going for an attack clothesline. Like this is where he elbows. This is where he elbows LA Knight. This is where LA Knight elbows Roman Reigns. We try to attach him right onto the top left corner of Tina the turnbuckle. This is where he try to go for an other. This is where he try to clothesline him once again, but he kicks him once again. This is where he gets him with a top rope running bulldog off the top rope. Deep smoke alarm. I don't know what you mean, but I'm trying to do my best of not make it too deep. But anyways, this is where he hits a tornado DDT like running bulldog to Roman Reigns off the top rope into the the top left corner of Tina the turnbuckle. This is where Roman Reigns was back onto his feet after LA Knight, because even though LA Knight was the one that hit him with the tornado DDT, this is where he started an uppercut onto LA Knight. LA Knight answered back with a right hand with himself. Roman Reigns hits a striking right hand, hits a striking right hand back. This is where LA Knight the fans were chanting, yeah, while Roman Reigns was getting the boo chants from the fans when he started hitting striking right hand, until LA Knight started hitting some multiple combo punches, like right hands repeatedly, like yeah, yeah, yeah. Fans were chanting, yeah, 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 like about over 100 times. Oh yeah, thank you very much for the complimentary. But yeah, I appreciate that. I try to do the best I can on how to say it and when to say it. Like try to be like a professional journalist when I'm doing videos like this. I appreciate that comment, bro. But anyways, this is where Roman Reigns tried to Irish whip LA Knight right to the right from the right side of the from the right corner of the ropes into the left side of the corner ropes. Okay, I'm glad you did rest that very well. But anyways, this is where LA Knight went for Roman Reigns tried to go for a clothesline. LA Knight ducks. He hits a clothesline of his own, respectively. This is where LA Knight was back on his feet. This is where LA Knight was trying. He kicks Roman Reigns into the midsection, DDTs him in the process. Loser, whatever. Anyways, this is where he going to get the 1-2 count. This is where LA Knight goes for the. This is where he started hitting the striking stomps right onto the tribal chief. And the fans started repeatedly saying, yeah, 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 yeah. When the fans started saying, yeah, when the referee was like 1, 2, 3, and then LA Knight was like, oh, and then he right from the bottom left corner of Tina the turnbuckle into the bottom turnbuckle to the top right corner, like of Tina, where Roman Reigns is trying to knee him in the face. But this is where he did so. This is where he tried to go for a power slam, but Roman Reigns counter ducks underneath from this power slam. This is where Roman Reigns hits a standout Uranagi in the middle of the canvas. Only got him a 1-2. This is where Roman Reigns tried to try to think bigger and do something better than what he was doing, and that is Roman Reigns going for the Superman punch. This is where Roman Reigns was getting ready to do the Superman punch. This is where he tried to do the maneuver, but this is where LA Knight picks him up in the reverse fireman's carry into a neck breaker, which I believe that's a signature move because that's what he usually would do on WWE 2K22 or 23 on the game, of course. Go for the reverse fireman's carry, turn to a swinging neck breaker. But not only he did that, this is where he was getting ready to attempt to do his LA Knight, elbow strike, trying like something that's like his version of the people's elbow. This is where he tried to go for the maneuver. As soon as he rolled nearly out of the ring, but back inside the ring when he tried to run right towards the left side when he was running through the right side. But he gets intercepted by Roman Reigns with a Superman punch. This is where referee tried to go for a pin, but he only got a 2.99999999 count from the referee. Kick out of 2. This is where Roman Reigns like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, why did he just kicked out like that? This is where Roman Reigns looked very disappointed. This is where Roman Reigns was trying to get. He was trying to find a way how to defeat the megastar. This is where, and this is where he tried to go for his finishing move. Like last but not least, like we would usually do to any of his opponents with his title defense for the Undisputed Championship, which this is probably his fifth. This is probably his 5th title defense of the year. This is Roman Reigns trying to do it for the like getting ready to go for the spear. But when he tried to go for the spear, this is where LA Knight goes for a leapfrog, dodging the spear from the Tribal Chief, hitting his face first right into the middle turnbuckle pad onto the bottom right corner. This is where LA Knight was getting ready to do his finishing move, but he instead just go for the shoulder right to the midsection, spear into the midsection, make sure he's fully down. I was like, maybe he has a good point of doing a maneuver like that. This is where the referee was counting like 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is where the fans start continuing their chants like yeah. And then this is where LA Knight puts him on the top rope. This is where he hits a right hand. This is where LA Knight was heading over to the top rope, trying to go for a suplex. But this is where Roman Reigns started striking right hands with his big, monstrous red bloodline glove. And this is where he hits an uppercut right onto the face of LA Knight. This is where he tried to get back up, try to go for a top rope splash onto the megastar, but he was struggling to get back together and try to go for a top rope splash. But this is where he gets instantly picked off by LA Knight, and this is where LA Knight goes for a suplex off the top rope, which he successfully did, like superplexed him. This is where LA Knight finally got a chance to get up to do his not finishing with his signature move. Like, and you know the statistic, if it doesn't work the first time, it's gonna do so on the second time, which he did the LA Knight, an elbow drop with the fans chanting his name and his catchphrase. When he did the elbow drop onto Roman Reigns, this is where he tried to pin. This is where he tried to pin the Tribal Chief, and he nearly had him with the successful connecting elbow drop onto the Tribal Chief. I was like, wow, like I did not expect it to be so close like that. Like, because referee counted 1, referee counted 2, and he nearly counted 3 if Roman Reigns didn't got his shoulder up at the last second at 2.9999999 minus 0.1 second away from being 3. This is where fans were completely in shock. This is where Jimmy Uso tried to pull on grab the undisputed champion Roman Reigns. This is where LA Knight was like, "Are you serious right now? Like, why why are you doing out here? Like never mind. Like, I'm going to make sure I finish you off once and for all, like I'm about to do with your cousin. That's what he was looking at the Jimmy Uso when he grabbed him by his head. This is where Roman Reigns, he gave Roman Reigns enough time. He hit him with a Superman punch, which his head was peeking, pointing up onto the outside from the under the bottom ropes, like onto the right side of the ringside area. But he Superman punched him back inside the ring. This is where he was getting ready to do his finishing move, which is the spear, which he successfully connected. Which he finally did so because the first attempt didn't work. So it was a guarantee that he was going to spear him the second time. He got the 1, 2, 3, and he remained is still the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. When his reign passes 1,200 days as the Universal Champion. And do you think he's gonna hold on to that championship until April of next year? And do you think that this is his final last title? This is going to be his final and last title defense of this year, 2023. Y'all let me know down in the comments below. Or do you think that it could be Survivor Series will be his final title defense? Just continue to give me your opinions in the comments below. We're gonna, that's how Crown Jewel ended, with Roman Reigns celebrating. Still is the WWE Universe's longest reigning undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Championship match. And I would say how I feel about the wrestling results of the matches. Like, I would say, even though I didn't expect LA Knight to lose, I'll say he kind of lost clean, but at the same time didn't, because he was too distracted of Jimmy Uso in the end. Like it would usually be like some heel shenanigans and distractions. And I kind of called that, but I thought that Jimmy Uso would super kick him out of nowhere just for Roman Reigns to retain the championship. But LA Knight would have won, but he would have got the disadvantage of winning the undisputed Universal Championship. But yeah, what do you think about that? Do you think that Roman Reigns should have won by a pinfall, or do you think Jimmy Uso, or should you think outside interference should have been occurred even more, like with Jimmy Uso super kicking him, and then give him a reason why he did not walk out of Saudi Arabia is the new undisputed champion? Or do you think LA Knight's gonna say I lost, and I can't really blame the bloodline, for me getting pinned shoulders down by the tribal chief. I was off my A game, and that's what got something that's a true reason why he lost, which he's gonna say I'm not gonna make no excuses about it. I'm just gonna have to retry again, and he'll say, like I said before, and I'll say it again, whether if it was then or later on my future in WWE, I'm still gonna be WWE champion at some point, which I believe he probably will. Just give him about a year or two. Even though most of you LA Knight fans are not gonna want to hear this, but it's probably gonna be the truth for the megastars perspective and his status into WWE right now. Just give him about this time of this year. This time of next year, that he probably will be WWE champion, or even in 2025, or whenever you guys think, excuse me, when he's going to be the WWE championship. But let me know about that in the comments below. What do you think about Roman Reigns retaining? Do you think he should have retained, or do you think this should have been a new WWE undisputed champion of LA Knight? Yeah. And what do you think about the LA Knight? What do you guys think about the hardcore LA Knight fans' reaction onto this pinfall retaining win from Roman Reigns? But yeah, let me know about that in comments below. I would say I would give tonight's crown jewel a I would say most of the matches were really good. This match particularly was good, and same with Seth Rollins and Seth freaking Rollins against Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship match, and the Cody Rhodes versus Senior Money in the Bank Damian Priest, and even a shocking return of Kairi Sane was pretty interesting with Bianca Belair and against Io Sky, which we'll probably see this continuous feud with the EST and Damage Control, and possibly their latest teammate, which is Kairi Sane, which I preferred her to make her return like in a different way, like perhaps waiting until like during or after Survivor Series this month, like when she makes her long-awaited WWE return, and be on her way of facing Io Sky for the WWE Women's Championship. But we'll probably figure out what's going to be happening next in the foreseeable future about that. And we also have Grayson Waller got beat down by The Miz and this Saudi Arabian-born Hollywood actor, which that could start a program with the A-lister against the Aussie icon. But I would rather prefer that he continues his IC title feud with Gunther, of saying to see who's made the IC title more prestigious. Is it The Miz or Gunther? Who's going to win that match? Which I believe Gunther's going to win until he loses the championship to Chad Gable, which that's possibly between the end of this year or the beginning of 2024. But what you thought about Crown Jewel? And I think I would give Crown Jewel perhaps for good matches. I'll say 4 out of the 5 stars. Like for put on some good matches. Like even if some of the matches didn't make any sense or they planned it out like in the most shocking way, I'll say lower in expectations, but higher in a better way. I'll say higher, like what anybody would expect it to be, I should say. But some say that LA Knight shouldn't get. Excuse me, everybody. But I'll say everybody said LA Knight shouldn't lose clean, which I'm sure technically didn't lose clean because he was distracted and took his eye off the ball when he was too distracted of Jimmy Uso when he was pulling his cousin Roman Reigns out of the ring. But anyway, that's what cost him the match basically. But what you thought about tonight's Crown Jewel, and how would y'all rate it tonight? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this recap video, and if you did, make sure you leave a big thumbs up, comment below, subscribe, click the bell notification, share with your friends, all over social media. I've been your host, Super Ninja Austin. This was the 105th episode of the SNA podcast. Make sure you stay tuned for more, which I'm going to talk about the latest edition of AEW Collision, which we're going to start that right here, right now. See you there in 5 seconds later. 5 seconds later, till we meet again in 5 seconds. Super Ninja Austin, the assassin, is out temporarily.